just demonstrated that things don't abide by that, like gases. Gases move freely in all directions. That means that gravity's not acting upon those either.
Also,
Actually, I say that everything is attracted to the Earth, not everything going down.
yeah, how do you know? Like, let me ask you this. You said mass attracts mass, that's what gravity is, and then your example was something falling, dropping something. How do you know that that mass attracting mass is the cause of the object falling?
Sorry, how do I know what was that?
Yeah, that mass attracting mass is what's causing that. Like, if I drop a bowling ball, right? How do I know what's causing it to fall?
There is an obvious conclusion that there is an attraction force attracts us.
Well, how do I know it's not a push? How do I know it's not electromagnetic? How do I know it's not some other weird thing? How do I know it's mass attracting mass that's doing it?
So it's just a kind of force.
What?
Yeah, dude, but how do you know that's what's going on that's causing that? You have to give us a reason to understand that's how it's causing that.
You'd actually have to give us an experiment. You'd actually have to give us an experiment, Alpha.
Yeah, so do you have an experiment to show us that mass is causing gravitation to other masses? Mass attracts mass.
Actually, the whole universe is an example of mass attracts mass.
Really? You've seen that in the universe?
No.
You see, but
give us the observed phenomenon. I want to know what you observed.
Indo.
Yeah, but the problem is we're asking for a demonstration. How did scientists, like you say, figure this out? What did they do to test this? What experiment do they have?
Yeah. Can you please listen?
Yeah, if you have an experiment to show us that mass attracts mass, we'll listen. What experiment do you have?
Why black holes got more?
No black holes. No black holes. No black holes. No.
So
we're looking for an experiment. No, we're looking for
anything called black hole.
We're looking for an experiment. Looking for that. Concentrate on the words that I'm telling you.
Yeah, the experiment we want is mass attracts mass is the cause of falling objects. That experiment. So you're independent. So I can even lay out how the. I can hold on, Kevin. Kevin, one sec. I can lay out how the experiment, what it would look like. Right. So it would be like our observed natural phenomenon would be something false. That would be the effect, right? The effect. And we want to figure out what's the cause of the effect. So the effect is our dependent variable. Our independent variable would be our presumed cause. How can we test that in an experiment to figure out why is this thing falling?
Well, yeah. As I told you before,
because what I just gave you was a scientific method. Verbatim, what the scientific method is.
If the kind of
how you figure out what
you're requesting me to give you, if the kind of experiment that you're telling me to give you is something that I did personally, I've never did a scientific research. I'm not a scientist. I'm not the one who's responsible for doing these things. Like the one on the side chat that was telling me, I told him if you
don't worry about the side chat, bro.
I was asking if the flat earthers or the one who thinks that the Earth is not spherical, think that land and water at the same positioning as it is in the.
Yeah, but you're running from the previous claim. You're running away from.
Yeah. You will understand what I'm saying now. And he told me that you should observe everything with, like, you should go from China to Alaska, for example, to say that they're really next to each other.
What does this got to do with falling objects, mass attracts mass, or anything like that?
I mean, it's not an obligation to see anything with your own eyes to believe that it's right.
Yeah, okay, I didn't ask for that, so you totally strawmanned what I was saying. Can you think of an experiment? I don't care, like, if you know what it is or if it's ever even been done. Can you even think of a way that you would test this? Because let me tell you, this is not a viable experiment. You do not have a viable independent variable.
If you really want to observe or see an experiment for things attracts to the surface of Earth or whatever mass you're talking about, it's not that hard actually to see that there's a force affecting everything, and everything is.
Tell us what causes it. That don't tell us what causes it, dude.
I'm confused. Who's on the flat Earth side?
Who cares, dude? You keeping score?
No, I just want to know who.
You'll just listen, man. You'll figure it out. So you're saying, hey, mass attracts mass. It causes things to fall. How do you know that? What experiment can we do to figure it out? Fact of the matter is, there is no experiment you can do to figure it out. Even the claimed cause that you made, mass attracts mass, if we actually manipulate the mass, right, we take two different size masses, we're not going to get a different effect. They're both going to fall at the same rate. So that can't be the cause. So the problem with all this anyway is, even if we granted you gravity, bang, gravity, mass tracks mass, fucking shit falls, blah, 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 it's caused by a pole. How do you get to Earth's a ball from there? Like, even if all that's true, how do you reach the conclusion Earth's a ball from that being true? Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you get to, let's say, I'll just grant you all that shit. Mass attracts mass, and that's what causes things to fall. Let's just say that's true for a second. Why does that mean Earth is a ball?
It doesn't mean Earth is a ball.
Then why are we talking about it?
Actually, what brings us here, at the first place, that I told you that everything we see in the space with our own eyes, without any, without any photos, fake photos, edited, that things. Just look at the sky and we'll see the moon, and it's spherical. You see the lens, and it's spherical.
Yeah, just because every planet is a sphere doesn't mean we are a sphere too. You know, we can go our own way. We can choose our own path.
So why, in the first place, is everything that we see in the sky is spherical?
Who cares?
It's kind of crazy though.
Yeah, I mean, who cares?
Yeah. No, I get it.
If I go in the forest and I see all trees, is everything in the forest a tree now? Am I a tree too?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, if you're gonna troll, just go on mute, dude.
No, but you're
not trolling. I'm all about this, man. I'm on your side.
You're not helping at all, dude. You're confusing the dude.
Saying,
You're just gonna confuse him.
Yo, flat earthers are evolving. That's what I like to hear.
No one really cares about your social commentary. You can just shut up. Fucking guys,
if you're gonna be a part of like what we do in the culture, dude, just sit back and listen. Otherwise, 24/7 will take it like you're just being a troll. We don't know if you're just joking or what you're doing. So just kind of sit back and listen, bro.
Okay, so Kevin, say I made this statement. Okay, this is my logical statement. I looked in the sky. I see everything in the sky is a sphere. Therefore, I am on a sphere. Does that seem logical?
At least for me, it seems logical.
It seems logical. So, if I went into a forest and saw nothing but trees, and I said, I looked in front of me, I saw only trees. Therefore, I am a tree. Would that be logical?
No.
Why not? What's the difference? It's the exact same form. The form of the argument's identical.
No, it's not the exact same form, but because you're not a plant. But
how do I know that?
Man, don't play with me this game, bro.
Look, I'm asking questions I know the answer to. So I know I'm not a plant because I can look at myself, right? I can see my arms, I can see my legs. I don't see branches and leaves growing out of my body, right? So I know I'm not a plant. I know I'm not like those things. So we can look at the Earth and determine we're not like those things. It seems like Earth is unique. Just as I would be unique if I was in a forest containing only trees, I would be unique within that forest. I'd be like nothing else in the forest. It would just be me and a bunch of trees. Okay? So the Earth, I know it hurts, pains people to hear this. The Earth is unique. It's not a disk in space. It's not the third disk from the sun. It's none of that. We don't believe any of that stuff. Right? So the planets are the planets. What's in the sky are the things in the celestial objects in the sky. They're not like the Earth. They're different than the Earth. They're not the same thing. There's no reason they should be the same thing. And then when we examine the Earth closely, we can see, hey, Earth is not a sphere because it's flat.
But for the example that you just told me about you in a forest, everything is trees, so you may consider yourself as a tree. Actually, you don't behave the same way that trees behave.
I know.
Our plants actually behave nearly the same way that all plants around us do.
Can you give us an example of one of these? Can you stop that? Can you give us an dude? You're cracking me up.
Guys, I have
give an example of one of these behaviors that we see on Earth that's like the planets.
I want to add something, if you don't mind, guys. Why flat? Why not?
Okay, interrupting is rude. So you can go after this guy. Well, you can go after Huberman. You guys are just like rude. So I asked this guy a question, and the question was, you said there's something that's observed that's similar. What is it?
Yeah. I just say that our Earth behave the same way that all the plants around us. Yeah.
Can you say specifically like which one, which behavior?
Like we got a atmosphere. All the plants around us got an atmosphere.
How do you know that?
I actually know that.
How do you know plants have an atmosphere? Can you see it with can you see it with a telescope? Can you see the other planet's atmosphere? You can. You sure about that?
What about moons then? If you can see
what about them, dude?
The moon. Yeah, the moons. We got a moon.
Okay.
Every planet around us got a moon.
No, that's also not true.
So, man, if everything is not true,
you're begging the question, brother.
For you? What is the truth for you? How can I tell you that the thing is true or not? Or how can you tell that the thing is true or not?
You provide evidence. That's how you provide evidence. That's how you know things are true.
Mm-hmm. So we saw the moon of our planet, and we saw the moons of our planet, like Jupiter, for example.
You can't even demonstrate that our moon is like those moons. Nobody's ever seen the moon go around the Earth, have they? No one's ever actually seen a moon go around Jupiter, to be fair. Okay, so I want to know what you observe of the things in the sky that you also observe on Earth. You said there's behaviors, and none of those behaviors are observed on Earth. In fact, you didn't talk about the Earth, you talked about the moon. See, I've asked this question lots of times, right? Typically, I'll just say, list all the similarities between Earth and the planets. And there's none anyone can ever list. Not even one. If you take a telescope and you look at the planets through a telescope, I don't care how powerful your telescope is, you can look at the moon, the planets, wherever you want. Sun, don't look at the sun through a telescope. You'll get blinded. So I don't recommend that. You can look at the stars, whatever. And then if you take your telescope, stop pointing on the sky, and start pointing it around Earth, you can climb a mountain, jump in an airplane, go up in a hot air balloon, and point your telescope everywhere on Earth, and nothing looks like any of those things in the sky. There's no reason to think Earth would be the same. None at all.
And actually, there's a lot of like phenomenons in Earth that make sense in spherical shape of Earth. Like why the two poles of Earth are uh, maybe like a lot of ice here or there, and the made of the Earth, and that line that everything is hot. It's
Okay,
literally
because the sun.
all
Okay,
desert. Yeah.
like I mean, what the questions you're asking don't tell you anything about the shape of the Earth. You're asking questions about why is there ice here and not there. Okay, that's because the sun. The sun only covers so much area, right? So how long the sun is, like depending on how long your days are, determines what the temperature is, right? So when you have longer days, we call that summer. When you have shorter days, we call that winter, right? So there's more ice because they do not get as much sunlight as everywhere else.
So you didn't think that the sun is that enormous as they tell us on
No,
everything?
why would you think the sun is enormous? See, this is what the problem has. So we know the stories that you're telling us, right? They say the sun is 93 million miles away and it's 800,000 miles in diameter. The Earth is 3,959 mile radius. The moon's 300,000 miles away. Blah 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 blah. We know all these stories, right? The question we're having and why this channel exists and why we're asking for the evidence that those claims are true. We don't say you guys, and I'm not saying you specifically, but a common problem with people that defend the globe is that they think we don't believe in the globe because we don't understand the globe. We don't know about physics, or we don't know about astronomy, or we don't know about the heliocentric model. No, we do know about it. Okay, we know about it very well. Okay, better than most people that defend the globe. But the thing is, it's the evidence to support the story. Right? What's the evidence? What's the evidence the Earth orbits the sun?
Yeah, I got your point. I respect it, but the questions that I got here to ask in the first place: who made this up and why? Like NASA, for example. There's no one person. Why are they providing the globe Earth shape? Why are they providing this, and who takes a profit from this?
Okay, this doesn't even logically follow that they have to take profit, but the globe Earth is okay. How long has Christianity been around? I'm going to make an analogy. It'll make sense at the end. How long has Christianity been around? Long time, right? Yeah, are you a Christian?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so you're not a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But there are Christians still around, right? Why are they still teaching Christianity?
They think it's the right way.
Right. Okay, so this is the same thing. The globe is a secular one-world religion. And I'll tell you how and why. Does it have we're just gonna compare it to what a religion does. Does it have a creation story? Does the modern cosmology have a creation story? How everything was created, the universe, how everything came into existence. Does it have a story?
No, there's nothing.
The Big Bang is not the creation story?
It's a creation story, but it's not 100% fact. The religion says,
well, I mean, it is a religion because no one observed the Big Bang, right? No one observed the Big Bang?
No one observes.
Okay, so it's just a belief.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then there's the creation of man story. So that's like, hey, there was primordial. The long time happened. Earth formed. There was a primordial ooze. Freaking slime became cells. Cells became freaking, rocks became people, etc. Right. So we have man created from rocks, from random processes over a long period of time. So you have a creation of man story. Okay. Can you, so these are two fundamental claims. Can you verify them?
No.
Okay, there's no difference between it and religion, not even a little bit. The only difference is religion has a deity. This religion doesn't. It's a deity-less religion. So you asking me why would people lie about this over a period of time? It's not really a lie. It's more like a tradition that people just tell each other over and over and over again. You think the Earth's a globe. Why do you think it? Right? Because your parents told you and your teachers told you. Well, why do you think they believe it? You think they went out there and tested it? No, people told them, right? Their parents and their teachers, and then their parents and teachers told them, and and so on and so forth. We've talked to scientists, we've talked to PhDs in every field: physics, astrophysics, cosmology. If I ask them questions, right, they're going to sound like you. And this is what you guys, I guess, have a problem really understanding. You think there's a magic science guy out there with all the answers, and that we just don't know who it is, and you think that, maybe they know. No, there's nobody out there, bro. There's nobody out there that can come in this chat and give us the information. Hey, what's the evidence for this? You know how we know that? Because we've been doing this going on 8 years, and I've talked to thousands of people, probably tens of thousands of people with all sorts of backgrounds, and it doesn't matter the level of education. They could have a PhD in whatever. They give the same answers as a sophomore in university, and they give the same answers as a ninth grader, and nobody knows what the evidence is. They always point to someone else. That person has I don't have the evidence. I'm not, like you said it yourself, I'm not a scientist. That's fine. But if I went to a scientist, they would just say, well, that's not my specialization. I don't know anything about that. You have to talk to some other scientist, and that's all we ever get. So it's not like some giant conspiracy. It's a collective delusion.
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry about being so verbose about it. Like that, it's an important question. You guys ask it all the time, and regardless, whatever we said, it would be speculation. If there are people lying about it, and certainly the Apollo astronauts would have to be lying, right? The people that claim they went to the moon, that's necessary to lie. Everybody else, they wouldn't really be lying because they would believe it and be saying, yeah, Earth's a globe. They truly believe it, so it wouldn't be a lie. They would just believe it. They would just be wrong. So I lost my train of thought. The point is that it doesn't take a giant conspiracy. It's not a giant lie. There's thousands of people in on it. Most people just don't know, and they believe something they were taught, and they just say it. They just regurgitate it. It's literally that simple. Flat Earth is not fundamentally a conspiracy. That is disinformation, right? Flat Earth is a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. Fundamentally, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
How can the horizon be a conspiracy theory?
Kevin, if you don't mind, there's some other speakers in the channel. If you want to yield your time to them, there's some other ones that want to ask some questions.
I got no more to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being a good sport.
All right, we got some other speakers. We have in the wings right now Andrew Huberman and 010101 or whatever your name is. I'm going to let Andrew go first because he was muted. Andrew, go ahead. What's your question?
Now there was a lot to process from there. I'm going to let the other person go.
All right. While you do that, can you please mute your mic? All right, go ahead. 0101.
You left out some 01s there, buddy.
So basically, my question was why people think it's either flat only or spherical. Why not other shapes?
What do you mean? Why are people contemplating whether it couldn't be anything else? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, the problem
a random shape or anything.
That's fine. The problem is we're dealing with mainstream. Mainstream information has been given to everybody that the Earth is a globe, and they're telling you that it's a globe of a certain size. So we're dealing, what we do in this channel is examine what has been told to everybody, right? So we're doing that here, and we're doing it live. What do you know about the Earth being a globe like they told you? So that's what we do. We're not examining, let's look at concave theory or some other hollow Earth. We're talking about what mainstream has propagated to everybody's mind, which is that the Earth is a globe of a certain size. That's why.
Well, fair enough. Thanks for the answer.
Okay, did you have anything to add of how, like, maybe you have some information on why you think the Earth is a globe? 01?
Not really. That was all for now. Yeah, thanks.
Fair enough. All right. Does anybody else in here have any questions and they're curious about the topic? You can ask some questions. Perhaps we can challenge you. That's one of the things I think we want to do, is to challenge you on what you think you know. And perhaps if you do know that the Earth is a globe, you can hold your ground. If not, you have to concede and say, you know what, maybe I don't know. Pretty easy, but
yes, hello, I have a question.
yeah.
You said something about it being live. Are we live?
We are live. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to know if we are live and you want to know where the link to the YouTube channel is, all you have to do is click on the bot that's right above us. The very top of the channel, there's two bots. One of them says YouTube bot 2, the other one is 24/7 live. You click on that bot, it's going to open up what the bot is, and on the profile of that bot, it'll have all the links to our channels, including our Discord. And you can also click on each and every one of the people that have F ear, like by their name, their tag. That links you back to our home server, where we have all the information at the bottom of the server with all the topics that we cover in here. So yeah, we'd love for you to be a part of the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is run by Helio Skeptic, and subscribe to him so you can be up to date with our conversations if you're not able to log into Discord. But definitely hang out with us in here and always question your world, and you can find some answers, perhaps. But yeah, definitely if you want to, go ahead and step in here and start up a conversation, or, you know, maybe you got something you want to ask us. Go ahead, gentlemen.
So what led you to believe that the world is flat?
Well, for everybody's different, Andrew. And I think what happens is you get presented information that is counter to the narrative that you've been told, right? So the narrative is, of course, you know, the Earth being a globe and that. But the things that challenge it are something that would probably be the most obvious, right? Like they say that the Earth is a horizontal plane, so the Earth is flat, right? So you try to imagine a world where you've been told this whole time that it's a globe, but obviously you can see the world around you. So that's where we start with, is what we can observe. We start with observations, right? What do you observe? Do you observe the Earth that's a globe, or do you observe the Earth that appears as a flat Earth or a horizontal plane? Like, what do you observe?
And just another question. Do you believe that there is an edge to the Earth?
Whether or not there's an edge, still is like the place where people haven't traveled yet. So people cannot go to the extent of the realm of existence. So you can't just travel to some place you've never been based on some information that could lead you to like the extent of our realm, right? Because in what direction would you travel if you want to find the extent of our realm? Like the limits.
I would say
well,
if it was something like that, you would go in a straight line and eventually would get there.
Yeah, think about this, right? There's ideas that people have. But if I was to tell you, over a long distance, do you think that you could keep to a straight line? And not only could you keep to a straight line, what would be the method that you would use to navigate in a straight line? What would your answer be?
Well, I guess if you don't believe in that the Earth is a globe, or a sphere, I guess you wouldn't believe in longitude or latitude.
Yeah, the coordinate system is one thing, but what I'm asking for is navigating through any coordinate system. What is the way that you know that you're going in a straight line? Like, let's say, we can conceptualize what a straight line looks like, right? You can draw it on a piece of paper, mathematics, things can describe a straight line. That's all good and well. What I'm asking for is the verified information as the travel goes. Like, if you're saying I'm going from this place to that place in a straight line, how do you know the line is straight?
I mean, I get where you're going at.
Yeah.
But you can, like if you were just traveling, 1 foot in front of the other, if it is, I would say, flat,
it is,
then at some point you would walk to the end. I mean, how long that is, I don't know.
I get what you're saying, Andrew. It's not lost on me or anybody else in here. We understand what you're saying. Problem is, how do you know you're going in a straight line? That's the issue. We're addressing the issue, right? The issue is, how do you know you're traveling in the direction you think you are, a straight line, and know that you're going in a straight line?
Another question: How would GPS work? Like, because I can use my phone to navigate to a location. How is it telling me to take the right directions at all times?
Well, think about this.
It knows exactly where I'm at. How would that be possible?
Yeah, think about this. It's based on a coordinate system, yes? GPS?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. What coordinate system is it based on?
Longitude and latitude.
What coordinate system is that based on?
Satellites. Like it uses.
I want to dig down to the. Let's go to the base root. Where does all this?
Look,
where does all?
I'll be real with you. I can't tell you every aspect all the way down to the atoms of how.
No, we're not going to the atoms. We're going to the base. We're going to the base of the fact that where did this derive? Where was it derived from? Was it derived from a terrestrial sphere?
Terrestrial, like an Earth?
Yeah, Earth.
So
it's terrestrial. Do you think the coordinates?
So there's,
I'm asking you, Andrew. Do you think the coordinate
I'm just
system
saying,
was it derived from a terrestrial sphere?
It arrives from. So what they do is they have longitude and latitude, and then
brother, I'm asking a simple question. It's either yes or no.
I don't know how you're trying to.
Okay, so the ball that you think you're standing on, do you think the coordinate system came from that? The ball that you think you're standing on.
I mean, it's man-made, so I don't know what you're trying to ask me.
Okay, so you don't have any way to have an understanding whether or not the GPS coordinate system that GPS is using is coming from the ball that you think you're standing on. You don't know if that's true or not.
Brother, the coordinates are coming from the satellite.
Okay, no. Where were the coordinate system derived from? Was it derived from the Earth being a sphere? Is that's what I'm asking? Do you think the coordinate system was derived from the Earth's spherical shape?
How do satellites handle 100 million cars of traffic every day when my Cisco switches only have 48 ports on them?
I mean, there are bigger switches than 48 ports. I mean, you can
really. I want you to go ahead and post in there a 1,000,000 channel switch for me.
Oh, I didn't say. Well, it's not the same technology.
Oh, it's a magic technology.
It's like, how come my square doesn't bounce like my basketball?
You said it's sending coordinates to all these devices.
Yeah,
it sends coordinates. So, what the coordinates based on? Where are we trying to get to?
Yeah, where is it based on? I'm trying for him to answer that, but it seems like he's being a bit dodgy.
I'm not being dodgy. All right. I'm gonna let you take. I'm gonna take a step back. Go ahead and you tell me. I want to know what you're trying to get at.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you straight up because I don't like playing footsies under the table. I want you to be honest with me, right? If you're saying that the coordinate system or GPS and such were based on the Earth being a globe, then you'd have to have a way to determine that. I'm asking for you to tell me, do you think that GPS is based on the globe, the Earth being a ball?
Sure.
Okay. See how easy that was? Now, let's try to determine whether or not that's the case. How do you think we can figure that out?
Well, let's say on a globe and they have the longitude and latitude, they can pick a spot and go to it.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, you're already assuming that the Earth is a globe. I'm asking, how did they know it's a globe to determine the system? No,
we're in the same.
Andrew, you have to just bear with me, dude.
You're going to say, I assume something is a globe. You're also assuming that it's flat.
Yeah, hold on a second. Because you said longitude and latitude. That system, you said, is based on a globe, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do we know the Earth is a ball? For the coordinate system to be based on the ball?
I would suspect we have pictures that it's a globe.
Brother, How did we get
I'm asking,
pictures?
how come no one? How come,
Brother Andrew? How did we get
how come the flat
pictures?
earther?
Brother, right? You just wait a second, man. How did we get
How did we get
pictures
pictures?
if in ancient times they've already talked about the Earth being a globe? Like you're skipping a lot of steps to where pictures are taken.
We don't have to worry about ancient times. Everything in ancient times
we
would be a
do.
lie. I'm talking about now.
No, now, dude, you don't
How
arrive.
did they get a letter?
Listen,
how did they get a letter from UK to the US when they didn't even
Andrew,
have email? That's
you're
basically
just
what you asked.
you're going to appeal to something now, but as a matter of fact, you don't know where we got here. Like we got to this to this place in history from being in the past, people propagating the information forward. So if the information was propagated forward, it's not like we're just, forget about the past. We don't have to worry about that because people think they live on a ball, obviously, right? A lot of people do, like you. But the problem is it's a part of the context of what we need to understand how we got to where we're at now. You can't just skip all of history and say, forget about those guys. Let's talk about now. Well, you don't know how we arrived here to then already determine that you're going to use a coordinate system based on the globe. How were people thinking they live on the globe prior to this coordinate system from existing? Because the coordinate system didn't come first, did it? The idea of the Earth being a globe had to come first. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're putting the cart before the horse by saying that you're talking about the coordinate system before you talk about how the Earth was a globe first. How did they determine that the Earth was a globe first? And then they could probably figure out the coordinate system if it was actually a globe.
Yeah, I guess we couldn't have had books back then either because there was no internet to download.
Oh, why?
Like, that was a ridiculous argument.
This guy is fucking
that was a ridiculous
trolling,
argument.
Andrew,
this guy's fucking trolling.
Honestly, you're letting go of all reason right now, just so you can save face that the Earth is a globe, bro. You see what you're doing?
No, I'm literally saying, how come?
I'm reasoning
it's
with
crazy.
you, Andrew.
No, you're not. You're being ridiculous.
Yes, I am. I'm reasoning with you because you right now are being unreasonable by saying things like, let's skip all of history and go straight into where we're at with all the technology and such. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I want
Andrew,
you to lead us to the information from based on.
It doesn't matter that they had to start a fire a certain way. Then how do we start a fire?
How did they know it was a globe?
Doesn't matter.
How did they know it was a globe for them to base their coordinate system on the globe? How did they know it was a globe in the first instance? You got to start there and then work your way from there to the coordinate system.
At one point, they didn't think it was a globe.
No, duh. So now let's go to the part where they thought of it as a globe and they knew it was a globe and then they based it on the coordinate system. How did they do that?
No, like seriously.
Okay.
He knows
the
Andrew. Because he knows the answer to the question he's asking.
Then he could have fucking said it.
Andrew, and he's asking you because it wasn't based on a globe. You just think that. Nobody ever told you that. You just think that.
This is where your worldview comes from, Andrew.
You just made it up out of your head.
I made it up out of my head? Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Gotcha.
Because
go ahead.
I'll tell you why, dude. It's really simple. If you look at the history of this coordinate system, you know what they would say? If you're at the so-called equator, they would say you're under the equator. And they would say you're under the Tropic of Capricorn and under the Tropic of Cancer. They would say you're under it. Why is that? Why would they say you're under it?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't.
See, this is the problem.
Brother.
You didn't know where the coordinate system came from, and I was taking you back into history.
I don't know who made it. I don't know who came up with it.
No, it's not about.
But we can use. Right. Oh my God,
dude!
Right,
it's not about you. You know, because it's not logical.
You can interrupt me as much as you want.
It's not logical, brother. You're trying to use logic,
bro. Andrew, you're on. You got to play by their rules.
How does you never told me?
It's the only way to talk.
I just asked because you never answered my question when I asked you at the beginning. How does it work then? How does my phone tell me how to get to one location to another? It knows exactly where I'm at all times. I asked that question and you never answered. You just kept asking me questions.
Triangulation, trilateration, and sending signals.
From what?
From what? Things in the sky, things on the ground, undersea cables. Information gets transmitted all over the earth every day. You, with your phone...
It's in the sky.
You, with your phone, you send and receive signals to masts.
From
On the
what?
floor. Towers. Receivers of
towers.
signals. Yeah, on the floor. A mobile phone or cell tower.
Well, like, do you need a satellite for radio to work? Like you
No,
wouldn't argue. You wouldn't argue that like you need
It needs an
a
aerial.
satellite for
No,
radio.
Fucking aerial.
River,
Oh
we're
my
trying to have a
lord!
conversation with Andrew. It's hard enough that Andrew doesn't get it. You're not going to help the point if you're.
No,
just
I
gonna be
asked you a
more
question.
obtuse.
You never answered at the beginning. You just say, "How do you know? How do you know it was based off of a globe?" Like,
Yeah,
didn't
see-
answer my question in the beginning.
Yeah, I
you
know
keep asking
because
different
of
questions.
you know why?
How about you
Andrew?
answer my question? You want me to answer your
Because of
questions,
the
but you don't want
fact
to
that
answer
you
mine.
have you have a bias towards the Earth being a globe. So right now, everything that is built up in your mind, how things work, is
100%. I have a bias that it's a globe because I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures.
Dude.
I haven't seen a
Of
picture of
course.
a flat Earth. How
Listen,
come we
dude.
don't have any of that? You
Listen,
guys are
you're hot under the
all
collar.
flat
I get
earthers.
it.
No, because you won't let me finish speaking. This
You
whole
just
time
want
I
to
asked you
say
a
that
question.
because we got pictures, the Earth is a globe. Therefore,
No, it's not even
coordinate
that.
systems that are built on the globe work, and therefore the Earth is a globe based on the
Do you
coordinate
believe
system that
that
it's
there's
based on.
any space travel? Do you believe that any space travel has ever happened?
You're spiraling, Andrew.
No, I'm
You're
asking.
spiraling.
See, you haven't answered one of my questions. Every time
You're
you keep asking, you
spiraling,
keep
bro. I
asking me
can't
a
ask you.
question.
I'm not going to answer your spiral. What I will to redirect you. I'm going to redirect you to the fact that you are basing all of this information on the idea that the Earth is a globe. You don't have any way to substantiate the Earth being a globe. Therefore,
You
your
said
premise,
you wanted people to ask you questions,
check
but you
this
haven't
out. Hold
answered
on,
any
you're
of my
interrupting. Your
questions.
premise is faulty.
No, you've interrupted me the
Your
entire time. You never
premise
answered my
is
question.
faulty, Andrew. You can't start with a faulty premise and then therefore build upon it and say that
You
all
live
these
your
things
life
work
like that.
based on the Earth being a globe. You know, you're trying to get to the globe without having to talk about the history of how people
Actually, what
learned
I'm
it was
trying
a
to do
globe in the
is
first
answer a
place.
question.
Yeah, the question is only off a derivative topic whether the Earth has already been a globe. It's after the fact. You're not building from the foundation up. You're starting from the top down, already from having the technology of the Earth being a globe. The idea behind all of this is planted in your mind because you already have a foundation. It's illogical, but it's a foundation that the Earth is a globe already. I'm trying to take you back to history. Where did it come from? How do you know it's a globe? How did people know it was a globe? How was the information propagated that it was a globe? Was the coordinate system based on the idea that the Earth is a globe or not? So we're trying to figure out in history how this came about. You are unwilling and you don't want to.
You're unwilling to answer my question.
You don't know how the Earth is a globe based on history. So I'm taking you back. You don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about already when the technology exists now, using the idea that the Earth is on a globe. That's what you want to do. You want to bring us back over here, but this is already with the idea that the Earth is a globe. But you don't know if the Earth is a globe or not. I'm pointing that fact out to you right now, Andrew. That's the elephant in the room you don't want to look at. I'm pointing that to you. I'm like, dude,
well, you don't want to answer my questions, so it's all good.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He does. You just aren't willing to follow the line of the discussion, which will lead to your answer.
You can't answer.
You just want a straight out black and white answer. Sometimes it's not that easy.
Just answer my question. That we could have settled this and we could continue to something else.
No,
just leave.
You could have answered my questions, but you refused to.
It doesn't happen. It does not happen.
You could have asked me any question. You don't want to answer any of them.
Let me tell you this, Andrew. Jedi, let me tell you this. Hold on a second. Jedi just answered you. Actually, he did. He said it's working off of technology that we have based on towers, undersea cables, and or technology that's above our heads. But that doesn't mean that the Earth is a globe. That's what we're trying to tell you. But you can't see past the information we're giving you because you have a bias and you just say, well, no, I think it's because the technology is working up because the Earth is a globe. See, so I got to take you back to history.
That's not all what I said.
Listen, dude, if you followed my logic train, we would have started from history and worked our way from the foundation all the way to where we're at today. But you're unwilling to do that because you want to clutch your pearls tightly. You do not want to let go. You want to still think the Earth is a globe, bro.
I want you to answer my questions.
You see, it was answered. I just told you. Jedi gave you the answer. It was towers, it was undersea cables, and it was technology that flies above our heads. We already told you the answer. That's how the
you can have GPS outside of tower range.
Yeah,
but I guess you don't know that either.
Listen, dude, the coordinate system that it's based on, that's what we're trying to get you to understand. What is it based on? And you are unwilling right now because of your bias. You don't want to look into it. It's like you're afraid, Andrew. You're afraid of looking behind curtain number 1 because you're not going to find the Earth as a globe.
I don't care.
You're scared,
My life
bro.
changes neither. Look, even if you're
scared
correct,
to look at it. Then why won't you look at it?
Even if you're correct, the Earth is flat. Let's pretend it is. It doesn't change my life regardless.
Yeah, okay. If that's the case, let's go back to history. Yeah, if you feel that way, let's talk about it.
We don't go back. We can say, hey, how
let's
come
talk about it, Andrew?
Haven't got together and went to space? But do you not?
You say you're not scared. You say you're not scared. Let's go. Let's go to history. Let's find this information out. If you say it doesn't matter that much, let's go.
It doesn't matter at this point. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, it does matter, Andrew, because you're unwilling to look at the information. You're scared,
you're
bro.
You're unable to answer a question.
You're literally right now. You're terrified. You're terrified of looking at this information.
No,
you are.
I'm asking you a question. I wish you would answer it.
It was answered, dumbass. It's been answered not but 4 but 5 times. We've told you already.
No, that's not the question. I just literally asked you.
How does this work? How is it working right now? That was your question.
Do you believe that people
answered it.
Do you believe people have went to space? Do you believe people have went to space?
No. Yeah, the Earth is not a ball for that to be the case, dude. No. Which is why I was taking you back to history, but you're unwilling to go back there because you know the ugly truth that when you go back there, you're not going to find people know that the Earth is a globe, dude. That's the ugly truth. That is. You don't want to go back to history. You're like, when people are in space, that's because you think the Earth's a ball, bro. I don't have to go back to history
to talk about the present.
Yes, you do. Otherwise, you don't know how you arrived at the location you're at right now with the knowledge base that you have. You have to look at history. That's just a duh. Otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about. You just think that everything exists now because we're only concerned with now? No. How did we get here? What was the path to here? You don't want to look at that. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Andrew. We got to go back to the past.
Do you believe people have went to space?
Come on, bro.
I didn't say you people. I said, do you believe people went to space?
No, 16th time.
Yeah, the Earth is not a ball for that to be the case. We've been answering your questions.
I never said that. I never said that. That's
all right. So let's look at
because I never said that.
That's the third question that we answered from you, and yet you have not answered one of mine. You haven't.
Bro.
How do you know that the Earth is a ball based on the origin of where it came from? How do you know that?
How do you know the Earth is flat if you've never seen it?
Why are you reversing the burden on me? Everybody hears you being scared of answering the question, Andrew. I answered your question not but 4 or 5 times, bro. Answer my question, Andrew. How do you know the Earth is a globe? Dude, stop being terrified. Stop being afraid. If it doesn't matter to you, Andrew, if it doesn't matter to you, answer my question. Then answer my question.
Not terrified.
Then answer my question.
I'm concerned for you. I
don't give a shit about you being concerned for me or not. Just answer my question.
Good, Andrew. Why can't you answer a simple question, dude? What the hell?
You guys could have collected your money.
You're scared,
you guys could have gone to space yourself.
Look at you.
There's a lot of space travel.
Scared,
there's commercial space travel. You should just.
We're gonna put you on mute because you're being too scared. Yeah, you're clutching your pearls. Yeah, you don't want to look at the information, bro. Tell me in history then how they figured out it was a globe. Tell me in history how they figured it out, Andrew.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Everybody heard you, Andrew.
All of history could have been erased.
Look at history,
and if they get into one spacecraft, which they have, they could go up to space like,
last chance, Andrew. Last chance,
Andrew,
you're an idiot.
If the foundations aren't
shit in the forest 6 million years ago, it doesn't matter.
Hey, relax,
because you guys are so stupid. It has nothing to do with the fact that you can go to space today.
Spiraling, Andrew, you're out of control, man.
Yeah, that was it. He capped out. That's as far as we can get with him. We're going to put you on a cooldown. Don't leave before we can unmute you, because you'll stay muted throughout all the other channels. So, yeah, if you're going to leave, just let us know. We'll unmute you, Andrew.
He can hear me, can he? Is he still here?
Go for it.
I just want him to know that if the foundation upon which his question is built is untrue, then he has no reason to ask the question, right? And this is where Alpha was trying to lead you. There's such a thing as called the Socratic method. You might want to look that up while you're on mute, right? It's important in this arena that we ask questions sometimes to answer questions. We will lead you to your own answer. but you aren't willing to engage intellectually. You're just like a little kid.
Look at the chat, man. It's lit up with people saying history does not matter when you can go to space today. I'm telling you, man, it's amazing how many people have just like they all leapt into Andrew's logic. Because we can go to space today, it doesn't matter how history even gave us the idea the Earth is a globe.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what. While we've got some silence on the line, I'll tell everybody in the chat, and our friend also is muted, and they can come back with an answer, right? Because they keep asking the question and saying, we can go to space. No, you can't. Space travel, as you've been told, does not exist. There are no rockets leaving the Earth and taking people to the moon, like was said to have happened in history. That could never happen. We're breathing gas pressure. The definition of gas pressure is the force the gas exerts upon the walls of its container. That means the Earth must be a closed physical system. The Earth is said to be an open system. That means there's no necessary antecedent for the gas pressure that you breathe. Being as there's no physical boundary stopping the entropy taking place, then the second law of thermodynamics will dictate that if up there is a great big vacuum, an available space for gas to fill, then if there's no physical barrier stopping the gas will fill the space. Jupiter, an uncontained ball of gas, is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Gases only take the shape of their container. They have no inherent shape themselves. When a gas is in an available space, it expands to fill that available space. So no one's going through a place to a moon in a vacuum that doesn't exist. No. Thank you.
Hey guys, may I add like a question, if you don't mind?
Sure, go ahead.
So basically, like, I want to ask a question, but I would prefer like not to have like another question, but just an answer.
You can't. Yeah, but you can't. Hold on. 01. You can't dictate. You can't set up parameters to how we're going to respond. You can only ask a question. Hold on, sir. You can only ask a question, and however we respond will be applicable to what you said. So we're only going to respond the way, and if it's going to be coming out in a question, it's going to be with a purpose. It's not so that we can just reverse any burden on you, but we're going to do it so that you can understand your question either has to be logical or we're going to point out how it's illogical. That's the only reason why we'll
point out.
All right, no problem. It's more of a theory rather than a question. So basically, like if we take like, let's say 12 helicopters inspired by the clock, okay? Like 12 helicopters, and each one of them, they go like to a certain direction, like 12 different directions. They start from the same point. Like if they meet again, let's say like here they have like enough fuel, a limited fuel.
Okay, hold on. Wait, 01, 1 second. Before you continue with this hypothetical, I know where you're going with this, right? Yeah. But it has to be something that's practical that we can do. If you put it in the realm of, okay, I'll just put it this way. If the hypothetical is far-fetched, then it's not something that we could perform to validate. But if the hypothetical is something like, okay, imagine you walking outside and going 20 steps forward, like that's practical. We can do those things. But if you're making a hypothetical that's not practical, that's far-fetched, we couldn't verify the claim to be true or false. So you have to start from 01. You have to start from practical means. Okay, make the hypothetical something that's practical that we can do, that people can do. That's all I'm saying. You can't make it that's something that's not practical, because then the hypothetical will fall apart because nobody could verify what you're saying is true or not. In your own mind, you could create a scenario where you could be making a scenario where you are right based on your idea, but it's not right based on practical means of verifying it.
So you mean like you want something which is more of a like an individual scale?
Something we can do. There's something like even if it uses like helicopters or whatever, make it something practical, something we can do. As long as it's that, then we can verify it.
We do see helicopters in our daily life. Or
yes,
whatever.
I know that. But you were saying, imagine if the helicopter had infinite fuel and we're going in all directions. That's never been done by anyone. So you have to present something that can be done by everyone.
That was the reason I picked up helicopters, because they fly like quite close to the ground, so you can keep an eye on the ground.
Yeah, but let me show you. Let me just show you your logic, right? What you were demonstrating. You said this. Imagine 12 helicopters.
I have a question.
Imagine. Hold on, sir. I'm talking to
Please.
one. No, you can wait. You don't have to be impatient.
Okay.
You're not entitled that we have to cater to you, sir. You can wait.
Okay,
So you said, imagine if you had 12 helicopters, right, and going in all different directions. The problem that we're having is that that's impractical. That's not in any practice that anyone's ever done, what you just said. And furthermore, if you're saying that it's going to go with infinite fuel, it's going to make it even far-fetched than before. So nobody can do what you're saying to verify.
Okay, bro,
that the
we
claim
got
can
it.
be, dude,
Okay.
you're going to get muted if you interrupt.
do it.
I mean,
Do not interrupt, sir.
we still can replace helicopters with bicycles, you know.
Yeah, but we can't. Dude, listen. I mean, I'm trying my very best for you to stay practical, sir. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
Can you stay practical?
Riding
I don't care what example. I don't care what example you have, but just keep it practical.
water.
That's all I'm asking.
As long as you have food and water, it's still practical.
No,
it's
as
not.
long as you're able to make the hypothetical something that we can all test, then yes, it I would say go ahead with your hypothetical. But it can't, if it's something that's outside of the range of us testing, then you can say whatever you'd like. I mean, in your own mind, you think you could be right.
If I had to finish like the theory, it's like, let's say it's practical. Okay, let's say
No,
those
it has to
helicopters
be.
not.
Well, let him finish.
No,
Let
sir.
him finish.
No, you can't continue. Listen, this chat operates on people being logical, sir. He's not going to finish something that's illogical. That's not going to happen. If he's practical and logical, yes, he can continue. I guarantee you will hear him out. Guarantee it.
Fair enough. Maybe fair enough. So what experiment would you suggest for me to conclude? At my skill,
I'm going to tell you like this. I want to tell you like that because I'm going to answer what you just said. I'm going to tell you like this. It's not something that I would be able to tell you because I do not imagine the Earth being a globe. So if for me, I couldn't tell you how to work that out. You would have to figure that out on yourself and then perhaps come back later and then lay it on us. But I would say it like this.
I do not believe that the Earth is a globe, by the way. But I'm trying to understand how we can prove it that it's flat.
Right. No, it's not about proving that it's flat. It's about proving the claim that it's a globe. It's obviously flat. It's obvious. When you go outside, you see the Earth as a horizontal plane. Nothing more. You don't see the Earth as a globe. So it's obviously a flat Earth. Now you've got to make the case for it being a globe where we do not see the Earth as a globe. So
it's not
if you're going to make if you're going to make a practical example, it has to be something that we can do, sir, and test.
But who can't like walk or ride a bike forever? As long as
Dude, listen. Okay, I'll put it to you like this, right? Do you think that a person on a bike can travel the whole Earth?
Why not?
Answer my question. Has it been done, sir?
Yes, there is people who traveled like thousands.
So do you think, brother, listen to me. Do you think that somebody can go over the oceans on a bike?
Yeah, with a ship.
No.
Bro, what
yeah, but you're using you're using another form of travel. It's not a bike anymore.
That's why I picked a helicopter, but you said it's not allowed.
It's not practical.
Yeah, this isn't GTA, bro. It's not GTA.
You just finished saying you're going to use a helicopter. 01, listen to me. You just finished saying we're going to use 12 helicopters going in all different directions with infinite gas. That's not practical.
That's all right. GTA. That's Grand Theft Auto.
An airplane? What about an airplane? A jet plane?
That's still Grand Theft Auto, bro.
Okay. In an airplane, does an airplane have infinite fuel?
There is some tankers.
Dude, bro, you gotta work with me here. You gotta work with me. Does a plane have infinite fuel? Yes or no?
It doesn't have infinite fuel, but
thank you.
Can bring a tanker each time.
You cannot, bro. Dude,
bro.
What tanker, bro? What tanker are you talking about?
Who do you think we are, Richard Branson?
No, dude, like honestly, the things that you're saying are so illogical, so impractical. Nobody can do what you're saying. You're putting the claim of the Earth being a globe, how you verify it, far out of everybody's reach. Nobody can test what you're saying because you're making this idea that nobody can do.
Couldn't you just say transit?
No, I'm asking him because he's going to have to come up with some method that he's going to verify the Earth being a globe and some practical means. And everything so far that he's shown is just all of it has nothing to do with anything that anyone can do.
I personally can ride a bike forever if I want to.
You're going to go over the oceans? You're going over the oceans, dude, in a bike?
I'll switch to a
bikes that can ride
so if you switch to a boat, you're changing your method of travel. So that means that your bike example is not just a bike. Now it includes a boat. Think with your brain, sir. You're not talking about something that's logical. You can't travel the Earth on a bike, bro.
If I have like an airplane that uses solar power.
Yeah,
bro.
I can virtually travel infinitely.
Childlike mentality.
I mean,
this is childish, bro.
You haven't listened. Nothing that you've described so far has put it into the practical use that people can see that this is how it can be done.
Nuclear power. Nuclear power.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
Give up, bro.
That's wonderful. Are you going to put a nuclear power thing together? And then
no, because you're requesting like a source of energy that can last like for long period of time.
Listen to me. It's not that I don't want you to speak, but right now you've gotten into so many different types of ways that you're trying to prove that you could travel over the Earth in such impractical means that nobody can do what you're saying. Nuclear power, ride a bike across the whole entire Earth. Dude, these are examples of a child trying to explain how the Earth is a globe, bro.
The United States got aircraft carriers that can travel forever.
It doesn't matter.
Let me do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this for you, man. One more thing, right? I'm gonna give you one more chance to give us a practical means. If not, I'm gonna go to another speaker. I will allow you one more chance. Give us a practical means that we could travel the Earth, so we could verify, like as you said. You want to know the Earth's a globe? Try one more time, sir. If not, I'm just gonna go to another speaker.
Aircraft carrier. It has
can it travel? Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Aircraft carrier. Can it travel over the land?
Yes, it has like aircraft. It has like fighter.
No, sir. The aircraft carrier is a boat. It's a ship. It cannot go over land. So therefore, you'd have to change your mode of travel. So it's not going to be just the aircraft carrier.
So you're putting rules here, like.
You are the one that needs to describe how you are going to travel the Earth as a globe, and then describe how the travel.
You're adapting.
Let me tell you this.
Like you're adapting with rules. Like each time, like you put a rule. You know, it's not like
the rules are there so that we listen. You know why the rules are there? So it can ground you to reality. I don't want you to say, "Well, you could ride a dragon across the Earth and then find out it's a globe." Like, I need to ground you into reality. Reality where everybody exists on.
Reality. I don't believe in anything.
Oh,
okay. Can I speak now?
Next. There we go.
Well, that's a W.
That's all I need.
Can I speak now? So you're looking for significant evidence that the Earth is a sphere, right?
Yes.
Not me.
No,
right. Okay. So we could use changing star positions.
Oh my God!
Go ahead and show us. Well, you know what? I do it this way. I'll let you. Exclaim if you can. Put it in a statement of how this is going to be the case. So we verify the Earth in a globe.
All right. As you travel north or south, you observe a noticeable shift in the positions of the stars in the sky. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Would you like an example?
No. I mean, what I'm saying is with your example, Durdee. I think that's your name, Durdee. Durdee, with your example, I want you to exclaim how. Doing all of this leads us to the conclusion that the Earth is a globe. So basically, you could probably do it this way. I think it is a better way. Form it in a logical statement or a logical syllogism, right? With two premises that are true and one conclusion. So premise one, what's a statement that would be true? Traveling the Earth and seeing something shift? Like, you know what I mean? Like, put it in a logical statement. Two true premises and one conclusion. Can you do that for me, Durdee?
Yeah, hold on a second. I got a call.
Okay.
Can I finish his thought?
If you do you know where he's going with it?
Yeah, like I didn't really get to finish like the example.
Oh, I thought you were on a call.
No, I said cough. I had to cough.
Oh, go ahead, Durdee. I thought you said call. Maybe he thought you said call.
I guess so. Like, I guess it would like this would be like the premise. Like, so the premise one is like as you travel in a direction, you can observe a noticeable shift in positions of the star in the sky. And premise 2 is the North Star, Polaris, appears higher in the sky the further north you go, and disappears below the horizon once you cross the equator. And the conclusion is the this like situation, this phenomena is only possible on a spherical Earth.
Okay, now just hold off, Durdee. I'm going to have the panel examine your logical syllogism and see if there was any logic in the syllogism. So I'm going to hand it over to 24/7. Does anybody chime in to see if he was correct on his premise?
Go ahead, Jedi. So stars go below the horizon. You'd have to prove that to be true. I think you might be begging the question that the horizon's the curvature of the Earth for things to go beyond and appear to go downwards to. The phenomena can be clearly explained due to perspective. Things above your eye, like, excuse me, the light that's above my head, to the observer at the other side of my room, the light isn't directly above their head, but they've got a light above their head. You're asking us why the sky looks different when you change location. You've changed location and the sky's different there. When you get there, it's a different sky. So yeah, I've got issues with premise 2.
The premise 2...
with the conclusion, man. How did you even reach that conclusion?
Yeah, there is no answer, you know. You're not.
Well, I mean,
okay, so we see the stars. They're different in location. Polaris, you can't see it when you go south of the equator, whatever that is. Therefore, that can only happen on a sphere. How did you reach that conclusion from those two premises?
Below the horizon.
Oh, what the below the horizon thing?
Yeah, the begging the question that the Earth's a ball. Yeah.
That went below the horizon. So
how do you know it went below?
Yeah, that was my question. Yeah.
Yep. That's to the gentleman. The gentleman, if you could respond. Durdee, I think your name is Durdee.
Right. Let's see. So your assumption is that since the Earth is flat, that
No, we're not making assumptions. We're only talking about your claim.
Well, I mean, if you're right,
wait till I finish. Well, you're not a child, so wait till I finish. I'll be done in like 10 seconds. So we're addressing your claim that the stars, since they go out of your range of view, that they're going below the horizon is begging the question. Nobody sees anything going below the horizon, because if it did go below the horizon, you couldn't see it. So how would you know that's the case?
Let's see. Well, it provides, observational. You're looking at it, observational evidence of a spherical Earth. The shift in star positions. Excuse me, I'm talking. Can you let me finish? Thank you.
You know, I know I'm going to stop you because you don't have evidence. No, you don't have evidence.
Excuse me, you're interrupting me.
You're begging the question again. That's why I'm stopping you.
Yeah, please let me finish. The shift in star positions as you move north to south can only be explained by a curved surface. If the Earth were flat, the positions of the stars would not change in the same predictable manner.
Yeah, that's not true. So, okay, let's say I'm in a gigantic Walmart, and there's lights all over the ceiling, and I label the lights. This is Polaris, this is Aries, this is Orion, yada, yada, yada. Right? And their different lights are labeled different things. Then I walk from one side of Walmart to the other side of Walmart, and the positions of those lights in my field of view, they changed. They moved around, right? Now I'm standing under different lights at the south side of Walmart than the north side of Walmart, right? Is Walmart a globe?
No.
Okay, so no, this isn't evidence the Earth is a globe. It's only evidence that you moved around.
Yep.
Oh, look at the different things that are over here.
Right. Right. So if you, but if you were to go north or south, right, and if the Earth were flat, the positions of the stars would not change.
Sorry,
I just demonstrate that false by the Walmart example.
Yeah.
Wait, are the stars in the sky the same distance as the lights that you see at Walmart?
No.
Well, it wouldn't matter.
What do you mean it wouldn't matter?
Because you're moving from one location to another. You were under this thing, and now you're going to go and stand under that thing, and then you're going to ask us, why the hell is that thing up in the sky when I stand under it?
What do you think when you walk around, like the same star follows you around or something?
Well, is that what you guys think?
That's what you think.
Evidence.
That's what you think that flat Earth is. For example, Durdee, if I could ask you, what do you think flat Earth is when we say flat Earth? Can you describe a mental picture of it to us? What you think it is?
No, I don't know. You'd have to tell me. Like, I'm not sure of your position. Like, I am under the position that the Earth is a sphere.
Yeah, so. I get it. But if we say flat Earth and you say this could not work, why do you say this could not work if you don't have a mental picture of what you think flat Earth is? Because you're okay. So in other words, what I'm saying is, if you have the globe right on one hand and you have the flat Earth on the other hand, you're comparing them together, and then you can say, okay, I can see what one on the globe is doing, and I can see what the flat Earth is doing. So I'm comparing them. And the flat Earth does not work. So what mental picture do you have of flat Earth to say that does not work?
The picture I have would be that it like these observations wouldn't work.
No.
I mean, I have like a
No. Not that it doesn't work. I'm asking, what is the cosmology? What does it look like? You know what a globe looks like? It looks like a sphere. What does the flat Earth look like to you in your mind?
Flat.
Flat, but what? What specific shape do you have in your head?
Yeah,
like a piece of paper.
Hold on, guys.
Durdee, if you were able to draw it out with a pen and paper or pencil and paper, what would the flat Earth look like? Could you draw it?
Yeah. If it was on a piece of it would look like the piece of paper.
Okay, so is it a rectangle? It's a giant rectangle.
It could be like a discus.
So it's a disc.
Okay,
so you have a disc. Now we're getting we're getting at least to the. Because the problem we're having is that you're comparing the globe to something, but the something you're not describing what it is, and you're just automatically saying it doesn't work. Well, how do we know you're comparing it to something that's actually like what we're saying versus what you have in your head? We don't know what you have in your head. You're just saying it doesn't work.
Well, wouldn't the Walmart example not work then? Because generally Walmarts are like square. Like, let's say you had you're in a silo.
Hold on a second.
Lights are in the sky above your head. When you go and stand under different lights, you see different lights above your head.
So if you got on the same plane as the light, right? Let's say you're going up and down. Like, you're talking about going like left and right, right? And you see the light.
That's what you
stand directly underneath it. If you stand directly underneath it, right?
That's what we did.
You see the light right above your head. If you go to the left, you see a different perspective. It's still up your head. You go to the right, it's still up there. But if you go, if you travel far enough,
you can't see it anymore. Yeah, it's descended downwards due to your perspective, like your ceiling does towards the end of the corridor, or the street lights do towards the end of the street. They haven't actually got closer to the floor. That's perspective. How old are you, mate? May I ask?
Wait, hold on, what's this? Like, we don't need to be doing this. I still have another example to give you.
Take an art class, man. Just take an art class. That's all you need to do.
I took an art class like 20 years ago.
Okay, they taught you how to draw in perspective, right? So if you're going to draw 50-foot poles going up into the distance, would the poles get lower?
I'm not sure. I'm still trying to think of like why it is the case that since like we do travel north and south, and the stars do fade or not, like their perspective is different in the case that you can't see them. If it was the case that the Earth is flat,
look, he was walking. No, you're saying if the Earth is flat, you're making a flat Earth prediction. Okay.
Are you willing? Are any of you willing to observe
your flat Earth prediction based on? Okay, you're saying it would look like this on a flat Earth. What is that prediction based on?
It's based on your perspective that it's,
yes,
a flat Earth.
So if we have, say the stars are they're on top of street poles, and as the street poles go off further and further away into the distance, they're going to appear to approach the vanishing point, the horizon. They're going to appear smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually they will be indistinguishable from the horizon. They didn't go under the horizon; they merge with the horizon visually.
Couldn't you always see the moon then, if you were?
Can I?
Durdee, do you think the Earth is a disk in space? Is that what you think?
I think that the Earth is a sphere that rotates.
No, I'm asking you about the flat Earth that you're trying to describe, that you have pictured in your head, even though you're kind of trying to avoid to give us the model that you have in your head. Is it a disk in space?
I don't know. You would have to tell me what you guys think it is, and then I could see.
Oh, no worries. No worries. The Earth is measured to be flat, and that's what you would be doing your north and south on, because north and south are essentially straight lines. They're sort of like azimuths in relation to north. So even if you go north and south on the Earth that you're on now, that's a flat Earth.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys believe that the sun and the moon rotate around the disk?
No.
Okay.
You just said disk again. You said disk.
Yeah, look, we do not think the Earth is a disk floating in space. The sun does not go under it. The sun doesn't orbit the Earth. The Earth doesn't orbit the sun or the moon. The moon doesn't orbit the Earth. It's above the Earth.
But like we do see the sun change perspective, right?
Yeah, it moves, right?
Well, like the light, like in the Walmart example, like the sun doesn't stay in the. If you stayed still, right? You stood on the flat Earth. The sun is going to change perspective still, right?
Yeah,
the sun's going to move. Yeah.
So
that's what you see, right?
Are you saying that the sun is rotating around the flat Earth?
No.
What do we observe? The sun in the sky and moving across the sky. So that's where the sun is. It's in the sky, moving across the sky.
Well, it doesn't really move across the sky. It kind of like moves in an arc, and depending on where you're standing. Like, so
is that across the sky? That arc that it moves. Come on, dude.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't need to try and correct me. That's exactly what I said. It moves across the
I can
sky.
talk about the independent verification of this, right?
What do you observe the sun doing?
Shifting position.
Cool. So the sun.
But it would also depend. Look, like some people on the Earth also like, if you were in Australia or China, right? Let's say someone's in America and someone's in China and they're talking on the phone together. Wouldn't they both see the sun in the same position?
No, because, for example, like the light, for example, if it's daytime, noon in America where you are, where the sun's right in the sky, for somebody else who's not in this location where the light is, they're probably not going to be able to see it if they're far enough away. We call this not being able to see the sunlight nighttime.
Right. Yeah, but you can see the moon during the day sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's because the moon moves across the Earth and it comes to where you can see it and then disappears and then goes to somewhere else where they can see it. Like anything that moves. Sometimes you can see it if it's close enough for you to see, then it goes away, then you can't. Shock horror.
But you're not really, that's kind of like...
What?
I would
you think this is somehow flawed logic when this is what we observe?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Like, I mean, again, you haven't really like explained to me why someone can see the moon in America, or see the sun in America, but not see it in China.
It's not in China.
That rotates, and those people at different times.
It's then see the conclusion. First of all, I wouldn't reach a conclusion they can't see in China. Because they did hold on. They did a simultaneous FaceTime where a dude was in the UK, someone was in Washington State in America, and another dude was in Australia. and they all saw the moon at the same time.
What about well then, like, what about if that was like, what about other places away from it across the equator? Because I guess you guys believe in an equator.
Well, I don't, but that's not the point. The point is, in the other places, the moon's too far away to see.
Like, get a telescope.
Yeah, but then, like, how do you explain seasons?
The sun moves.
I guess, yeah, there's nothing else. What seasons? What do you mean by seasons?
Like summer, winter, fall.
Yeah, I know the names of them. Like, but what do you mean? Like, what's the naturally observed phenomenon that we're talking about?
Changes in
temperature.
Yeah, temperature, daylight. The amount of daylight.
No, hold on. Those aren't the same thing, though. There's astronomical seasons and meteorological seasons, and they're weakly correlated. Okay, so when it's like, okay, for example, yesterday was the first day of summer. It wasn't the hottest day of the year. In fact, it was the coldest day over the last week. It's like 67 degrees here. So it was 90 degrees. There was 90 degrees for the week prior to that. So obviously, the temperature doesn't correlate with the astronomical season, right? Because the sun was up the longest. It was the longest day, but it wasn't the hottest day.
Well, I think here it was. Well, we're in a heat.
Well,
we're in a heat zone right now.
Well, that's a coincidence, right? So seasons, right? Astronomical seasons are denoted by where the sun is in the sky and what the day length is, right? So technically, like the equinox is when the sun is in what's called the first point of Aries, the constellation Aries. I actually don't think it's there anymore. I think that's just an old name. But when the sun is in this location, they say, "Hey, this is the equinox." So those are astronomical seasons. Meteorological seasons aren't the same as those. So they actually are different by like 2 months. So like the hottest, like the average hottest day versus the average coldest day, they're not on the astronomical season shortest and longest days. They're lagged by like 2 months. So like the coldest day in New England is like in February. And then you have places like San Francisco where it's colder in the summer than it is in the winter. And Tasmania where it like snows in the frickin' summer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Tasmania it'll snow in the summer, even though it's like, if you go by the latitude system, it's the same latitude as Detroit. Now imagine being in Detroit in the middle of July and it started snowing.
Well, how do you observe, like, what do you think is, like, when you have a picture of a sphere rotating in space?
Yeah, just jump off the seasons, dude.
And it's rotating around the sun. What are you observe? Like, what are you thinking in your mind?
See, now we get to the point where we wonder whether it's pointless answering any of your questions, because when we've answered, you're not going to address it. You're just going to ask another one.
There wasn't any questions. He was just saying. He was saying like, what different
weather.
weather.
What about the seasons? That's what you said, and I like that's fine. Okay, let's move on. Who cares what I imagine in my head?
Okay, well, I mean, if we're,
do you want to know what we're not talking about? Well, I want to point something out. What we're not talking about. We're not talking about the shape of the Earth and even how to figure out what that is.
Yeah, we're talking about verifying the evidence I provided, right?
Yeah, we're looking in the sky. Nothing we can say about the sky can prove the shape of the Earth, no matter what the observation is.
Well, I mean, it could be like independently verified by you or by anyone.
No.
So to observe the night sky from different latitudes.
No, this is a matter of logic. This is just a pure logical.
This empirical.
But you're not observing the thing that's in question. You're observing something that's not in question. We're concerned with the Earth. If you look at the sun, okay, if the question's about the Earth, you don't figure out what the Earth is by looking at the sun. You don't figure out what your house is made out of by looking at your neighbor's house, right?
Wait, well, look, so if if
can you
we have a northern,
acknowledge what I said?
You guys don't believe in northern and southern hemispheres, right?
Yeah, you need a sphere for your hemispheres, dude. You don't have that yet.
Right. So you have a northern and southern section, right? That's what you believe?
Okay. Why don't you address what I said?
Well, if I took a piece of paper, and I drew a line pointing,
he shut you
going
up.
one way and a line going
He's
the
having
other
an
way.
inner monologue trying to. He's just trying to think of the next thing to say so that he can continue this party. He's not.
What are you talking about?
You're unwilling to answer any of the things that have been asked you. People have been asking you questions, Durdee. You're not answering anything. You're just keep asking questions.
Monologuing.
You're monologuing. You're not responding to anybody else anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question? Because it didn't sound like a question to me.
There's been like 3 questions that you haven't answered so far because you're monologuing.
Well, I mean, I was trying to get into like the next example.
I know that.
I think it was the fact that
I know this.
We had a disagreement about
brother.
There was a
this
hemisphere.
Is the reason why I intervened right now, because you're not listening to anybody anymore. It's not a conversation any longer. It's Durdee's monologue.
So ask the questions again. I'll answer them.
No, that's not how this works. This means that you need at least to cool down for a little bit. Let another speaker come in.
Well, at least tell me the questions so I can can answer them and think about.
You're not gonna, dude. Here's the easy way to do it. Server mute. That's it. Just take a cool down, take a knee, let somebody else, ask some questions.
Yeah, let a bench warmer come in.
He's gonna be muted somewhere else. All right, that's fine with me. Yeah, if somebody else wants to jump in, he just needed to take a breather.
Yeah, his mind was starting to we all know. We've all seen it 100 times.
He was basically monologuing, and now basically what Andrew did towards the end, monologuing, like he didn't want to hear anymore. So you shut everybody else out and just monologue, and that's not how this is gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, when I was talking.
Their idea.
Oh yeah, I know that's just messed up. When I was talking earlier and I just vanished, someone overheard my conversation that I was having, and I had to flash smack them in real life, and they did the exact same thing. Those two, as soon as I started talking about curvature and how the horizon's too far, they literally just went blank, stopped talking, and just started
wow.
You think everybody's lying? You fucking, what about Einstein? What do you know about Einstein? And I was like, okay, Einstein did this, that, and the other things. You're like, what do you know about theory of relativity? Special or general? They were like, okay, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Bro took it to the streets, man. What the?
Yeah, took it to the street. Well, I mean, I didn't try to. Someone just wanted to stick their nose in. So, but the point is that even in real life, they do the same thing. Soon as you say something that is too damning, they just go into fucking autopilot. They're not even listening no more.
Yeah, he was straight monologuing through you're asking him questions, and he just kept going, dude. I'm like, yeah, he needs to take a knee, get it cool down and come back again, Maybe perhaps when he's ready to have a conversation and answer some questions. After a while, I think it gets to the point where they just want a monologue because they got to get it all out because you're deconstructing their worldview. It just can't happen. They can't have it. It's like, no, I got to clutch my pearls. I don't want the earth to be flat. It's like.
Yeah, it's almost a perfect parallel to what Andrew was doing. They all have a different a style of how they avoid the question, but they basically do the same thing. They start gish galloping. They start asking all these different questions, and spiraling out, spurging out, and they just can't stop talking because they want to stop the conversation because they're at a loss.
It's it's akin to a kid plugging his ears and going la 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 la. That's the same exact thing. This is.
Yeah. Oh, Sonny, I'm glad did you check your DMs, man? If you didn't see what I already posted.
I did, and I listened to it on Spotify. I checked it out.
That was great shit, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dude, I mean, it was very simple.
Listen, he said I'm on the fence. I don't think he was on the fence when he came in, though. That's what I'm saying.
We do have some people that are in here. Guys, if you want to jump in the conversation,
you drag him to the top of the fence. You didn't get him over, but at least you got him to the top of the fence.
Yeah, it was that Australian guy. Yeah, that was a pretty good conversation, I have to admit. That was a good day.
All right, there's some people in here. Guys, if you want to jump in the conversation, either you're going to prove the Earth is a globe, or if you want to have a conversation about asking us any questions about flat Earth, you can do so. But if we are in a conversation, it would be helpful if you respond to questions we ask and not just ignore what we're saying and then just bypass that and keep asking questions, because that's not going to work. I'm already pre-warning you right now. That might get you into a mute. So just, in a conversation, ask some questions, answer some of ours. Like we're back and forth. We'll have a conversation. It works, right? It has been for the previous people, but you know, if it gets to a level where you're not listening anymore, we're gonna ask you, what did we say? And if you're like, well, I don't know what you said, well, repeat your question. You might get a mute. So. All right, we got Axim that's in here. I'm going to go through the list. And Kit that just joined right now. Welcome to the forum. Who else we got in here? Otter, Io, Totter, whatever your name is. Welcome to the forum. Laxtrella, somebody that's deafened. Lily, Hru, welcome. We got Madlock. We got some people that are listening, so welcome to the 24/7 forum. We're on different forums. We're on the politics server. We're on this server. We have our home server. If you want to get on the listening panel on YouTube, click the bot, and also you can follow us along there on YouTube. But you'll get to know the faces of 24/7. We have the little tag by our name for it says FEER. That's FEER. So you'll notice that everybody that's got the tag has the tag of our home server. And in that server, on the very bottom of that, there's a lot of information you can gain, any knowledge you want to know about questions about flat Earth and such, and what we say. But we're usually going over that in this channel. So if anybody wants to chime in, you got some questions, go ahead, guys. All right.
Since nobody spoke up, I was just going to say to all the newcomers, anybody listening, just like Alpha was saying, if you just click on that FE tag for any of us, our home server is on there as a link, just in case that wasn't clear.
Yeah. It was. There's a lot of information at the bottom of our server because we have terabytes of information of flat Earth. So we encourage you guys to go look at that information. There's plenty more than we can cover in conversation right now. So. If you're interested, yeah, you can follow us there. But also the live stream. So it's pretty good, man. We've been going for about 6 to 7 years. Helioskeptic is the owner of that live stream, and he's been gracious enough to been live streaming us for about that long. So we have a catalog of our content. That means if you want to catch up with any of the conversations from all the people that speak on 24/7 panel, you can go back to the live stream and figure out like who said what, when, where. And we have it there to document our interactions. We have to sometimes because people say, I didn't say that. We're like, well, let's rewind the live stream. We'll find out if you did or did not say that. But usually, most of the time, people misspeak or they say things and they didn't know they meant to say that. So we'll have to go back to the live stream. We point it out and they're like, oh, okay, I did say that. So yeah, we're live streaming at all times, but we're doing it for keeping everybody honest because we can rewind live streams and find out if somebody said something. So. Yeah, welcome to 24/7, man. And we, like I said, we appreciate Vivek for letting us come here to this server and, kind of have a conversations with people about flat Earth. So, yeah, welcome to the 24/7 panel. Yeah, we got a lot of people live on the panel right now. Myself, Creation Bear, Crit, Dandelion, Das68, Drace AI, Elbow TV, Elijah is in the house, Effie Batman. Flat Hulu, Hell's Angles, I think. Yeah. Indio 007, Jedi, Jenna, John, Lau, Sue, Mick. Dude, it's lit right now. We got Neil, Quiet Noobs, Resolve, Says Who, Sunny on the Plane, T-Dub, the Honorable Shlomo, Ultimate FE Final Boss, and Car and AG. Welcome, everybody. You guys can jump in here if you want to.
I'm still. I was just gonna ask if you could give me one or two of those questions again.
Yeah, if you're listen, the condition was if you're gonna have a back and forth, answer some questions. If not, we're just not gonna have that kind of where you're just monologuing and not responding anymore.
Right.
Okay. So, where did we leave off?
I'm not sure. We were asking. There was. We were talking about the differences in seasons, and it started getting to about just like temperatures. We were talking about people seeing the moon in different places.
You're basically asking why do we have seasons on a flat Earth? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was wondering what the idea of seasons, like how seasons were explained through like flat Earth theory.
It's just it's simple, right? Because it's the proximity of the sun to your geographic location. So if the sun is closer to you, guess what? It's summer. If it's farther away from you, well, no duh, it's winter. Yeah, it's pretty simple. There's not a big brain to think about it. It's just where the sun's located and, respect to your geographic location. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
That it?
Cool. Well, I mean, sure. Yeah, like that's. I mean, I could probably try to refute that.
You can't because it's an explanation of what's happening. Like what causes the season is the sun's proximity to your geographic location. So would you say when the sun is up at daytime, it's hot? Would you say, is that a true statement?
I mean, no, because like if the sun's up, that doesn't necessarily mean it's hot.
Oh, right? So the sun doesn't cause heat, Durdee.
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Depending on.
So then we can make the statement. Then you just contradicted yourself. So that means when the sun's up, it's hot. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Let me ask you the other question, and let's go back and forth like ping pong. So does the sun cause heat?
Yes, the sun can cause heat.
So when the sun's up, is it hot?
No, not always.
Is it not hotter than it was during the night? Think about this for a moment, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like the sun.
Yeah.
Like the sun can. The sun can shine in like Antarctica, and it can still be like.
Is it hot
in the summer when it's warmer?
It's hot. Well, that's where he's getting confused, Davey.
No,
listen. It's hotter.
It's simple.
Not in his. It's relative to him.
Yeah. But when we say when the sun's up, what causes seasons, right? Well, the sun's proximity. So it's proximity to you, right? If it's farther away, that means it's going to be cooler, right? When it's closer, it's hotter. Is that a true statement? Are those true statements? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, seasons happen to deal with the proximity of the sun. Farther away, closer to you. Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah? Was that all? I mean, because the sun's proximity was the answer. You said, how does this work on a flat
Earth? That also goes for the day and night. That also goes for the day and night cycle, baby.
Yeah,
I think that's where he's getting confused.
But we're dealing with seasons. Seasons. Not day and night. Seasons. Hello?
Okay,
anybody home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Durdee.
So if the sun's closer to you, that means it's hotter. The sun's farther away, it's cooler. Yes or no? What are we doing?
Yes. Let's see.
Hello?
Is it warmer? It's a simple question. Is it warmer in the summer than it is in the winter?
It's always yes.
It depends on.
It depends.
Right, because like in Australia, the summer begins in
the summer. The summer begins in the summer.
That it is in
the summer.
In the winter in the north. Or in America.
It begins in the winter.
Hello?
Hello? Can we get it?
Like, it would depend on your position on the earth, right?
Yes, dude. Hey, round of applause. He finally got there. It took a while, but we got there. Thank you so much.
But it would be the fact that the Earth is a sphere that would cause that.
No. Wrong.
So Durdee,
no. Wait. Hold on a second. No, the fact is that when I told you was the seasons are caused where the proximity of the sun is, and you said okay, you agree with it, and then you said at the end of that, but the fact is the Earth's a globe. No, you tag that on to seasons. Seasons didn't need that. You tagged it on. Do you hear what you just did? You tagged that on to seasons. Seasons did not need that. You tagged it on.
Well, what's responsible for seasonal variation?
Okay.
The proximity of the sun to your geographic location.
Yeah,
Right.
if I might interject real quick, Durdee. Are you in the
Well, I
live
just
chat?
had a question about the tilt of the Earth.
Hold on, we're not there yet. That could be the next one. So we're still on seasons. Are you in the chat? Are you in the chat right now? In the side chat?
Sure.
Okay, so do you see what I posted? I'm Sunny on the Plane at 44 minutes. It's an hourglass looking shape. It's called the analemma. Are you looking at that? Do you see that?
No, I see.
Scroll up.
I see an inner core picture.
Scroll up.
Okay, so you got to scroll up to 44 minutes after the hour, and you'll see what I posted. If you're in the right chat, it would be the open chat for this live stream.
I'm in the side chat.
Post it again, Sonny. So just repost it.
All right, one sec.
Just give him a moment. He's gonna repost it.
Hopefully you're in the right chat. Okay.
All right, he posted
So do you
it
see what I posted now? 48 minutes. If not, you're in the wrong chat.
Yeah, Sonny. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So this is called the analemma. It's an hourglass shape, right? So what this is at the same time, like every day throughout a year or various times throughout a year, this is showing the position of the sun, right? So to the right side would be north. To the left side would be south. So this is basically a measurement of the sun's position and its course throughout the year. If you were watching it, it came overhead, and then you snapped a photo of it. That's what all those points would be on that hourglass shape. Those are all measurements above a flat plane. That explains the seasons.
Yep. The sun's proximity to your geographic location.
Yep.
That's
how
all
the
it ever
seasons.
is.
Yeah, that's how the seasons occur. This is why they occur the way they do. Do you understand that?
I'm a little bit confused.
I know, because you're trying to insert the ball in this, and you don't need the ball. You don't need it. People that make these observations can do so throughout the year. And when they snapshot a photo of the sun throughout the year, it creates this hourglass called the analemma. And so the sun's proximity to your geographic location, right, will vary. So it depends if you're in Australia or in North America or in Europe or wherever you are. You're going to take a picture of the sun every day throughout the year. It'll create this hourglass in the sky, which is called the analemma. And all it is where the sun's position is in regards to your geographic location. That's it. No globe needed whatsoever.
Yeah. So this doesn't require rotation of the surface. It's measured above a flat plane. It would be totally different if Earth actually was a curved surface, but it's not, clearly. This is one example.
Wait, right. Can I explain my position?
Yeah, you go ahead.
What?
Right, like the analemma, the figure 8 pattern that shows the position of the sun in the sky, right? So we're talking about at the same time each day over a year. Yeah. That results from the Earth's tilted axis.
No,
and its elliptical orbit around the sun.
Yeah, let me show you why you're wrong. Okay, one way to show you how you're wrong: prove that the Earth is a ball right now, doing that little spinny thing in your little image there. Prove that it's a ball. Do that, and tilt it if you want. We're not going to wait, Durdee. We're asking you a question. Do that thing that you say you're going to do. You're showing us a depiction, a cartoon ball. I want you to show me how you know it's that cartoon ball. Show me. Prove it to me. How are you going to do that? We're not waiting.
I guess I can.
Thank you. That's the answer. Thanks for playing.
But wouldn't that be a fallacy?
No, it's being honest. That's what it is. You're honest. I can't prove it.
Like the absence of information doesn't negate.
Sorry, Durdee. No, you can't. There's no way out, brother. This is the answer. You can't. You can't think of a way out of it. Durdee, just own it, brother. You gotta own it. You can't escape. Tell me. Once you say it can't, I can't show you. That's it. That's all she wrote. There's no more.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, like that's saying if I believe that Santa Claus
Brother,
exists,
you're trying to. This is only for you. What you're doing now is just for you. You really just want to do this for you, right? Go ahead. If it makes you feel good, finish what you're going to tell me. It'll make you feel.
Well,
better.
on a flat Earth, there would be no actual.
See, there
tilt.
we go. See, on a flat Earth, because you haven't proved the Earth was a ball with a tilt. You said I can't.
Well,
Remember that I can't. That I can't was I can't prove the Earth is a ball, like the cartoon you're showing me.
No,
yeah?
but the evidence that you're showing, the analemma would prove that it's a round Earth.
No, it doesn't, bro.
Question.
It's just
on a flat Earth, there would be no actual tilt.
Dude, listen to me. Listen to me. It was just the sun's position in the sky. That's all it ever is. It's not the Earth being a ball tilting, because you can't even, like you said, I can't prove it. I can't. You can't.
Well, what's the mechanism? What's the mechanism to create seasonal variations?
Durdee, listen to me.
Sun moves for the 20th time.
Yeah, you can't prove the Earth's a ball, bro. You said it.
Can I ask a question?
No, I can't. No, I can't prove it to someone who just who won't accept.
No, you can't prove it. Okay,
story.
Yeah, we have to accept your belief. Well, that's not going to happen. You didn't prove it.
I mean,
what?
Yeah, I'm trying to prove it. Like so, if you were to claim that the Earth is flat,
dude, hold on a minute. Let's kind of. I put you on mute for a reason, dude. You're not. You're bypassing. It's called whistling past the graveyard. That's what you're doing right now. You already basically this argument is dead. Its bones are stiff. You know, they're ready to bury it and stuff. And you're like, no, I think it still has life in it. That's what you're doing right now, bro. You think this argument has life. You said I can't prove it. That's it. It's over. It's game over, bro. It's done. We don't need any more. You don't need to tell us how you're gonna make us look like we're gonna prove flat Earth. No, it's done. It's game over. Yeah, there is no more globe. You said I can't prove it. That's it. Thank you. Now we're moving on. Maybe there's another speaker. You could think about what you said. I can't prove it a little bit more.
So,
hello.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, sir.
So you're denying that the Earth is a globe. That's what you're saying. So
no, we're not denying it. So I'm Jinxed. I need you to do this. Take up the mantle where that gentleman left off. I need you to prove that the Earth is a globe. Go ahead, sir.
No. I've just got a question.
Can you do
it? The shape of...
I'm Jinxed. Can you do it?
No, I can't.
Thank you. Maybe there's another speaker that can. Yes, we're moving to somebody who's capable, sir. I have to hold you on mute because we don't need any more questions. We want somebody right now in the call that can actually prove to us that the Earth is a globe. This is so important to everybody. That somebody hears someone who knows that the Earth is a globe, prove it to everybody else. If you cannot do it, we'll just move to another speaker until we reach no more speakers, and perhaps we'll come back to you and then say, okay, let's talk to you again. But for right now, we got to see if there's anybody else in the chat that can prove that the Earth is a globe. We want them to speak. We will unmute you before you leave, by the way, so don't take off. All right. Does anybody else want to chime in to how they know the Earth's a globe? If not, we'll go right back to this guy.
I just have one question.
Oh.
I see there is a YouTube in here. I just want to know, is this actually live?
We are live. Are you scared, Jedi? He was already going like, oh, hell no.
Yes, it just gets me every time.
It does, right?
I'm not used to all of the new accents in here, so I think he's done it twice to me now. It's like, hold on. Oh, it's fucking CB again.
But there is another question we got to ask CB though, man. Why does he got that OSS tag, man? Is he dissing us?
I know.
Like a part of like some other group?
Nah, I'm not changing.
He's falling
bro.
off the wagon. Like I don't know, man. Like some kind of. It's a jacket.
I gotta rep the OSS. Bro.
He said it's fresh and fit thing. I asked him the other day.
Hell no.
That's Myron's thing. Yeah, I'm not changing it, bro. Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh,
we know where your allegiance lies, bro. Now there's the true colors are showing through.
He's a
my boy Flipboard knows.
He's
my
a
boy
deserter.
Flipboard knows about it.
Yeah, is that what you call it?
Shit.
What do we do with deserters though? I don't know. What's our policy on that?
don't know. I think they firing line and shit.
Of course, I need backup.
Indio's gonna take your bars off your collar, bro. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Clipcord, throw up no slash.
I don't know. If you want to go back to Jinx, we can. I think
We'll give him a funny nickname.
Yeah, but he's not crazy, dude. Yeah, we're gonna bury the honorable creation bear. We'll just find some scrub name somewhere on the internet, just attach it to him.
He can be Brenda.
Oh, damn.
It reminds me of one of those Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns where the first part of the movie they're showing them stripping him of all of his tags and his medals.
He says,
"Oh hell no!"
He's giving he's giving 2 middle fingers to the Discord, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm keeping this here, boys. I don't give a damn about you guys. I got to ride with these folks." I'm like, bro, man, we came a long way, and I don't know, man.
We did come a long way. You know what? I don't even know if I like FEER. If you guys come up with something better.
Oh, snap.
Shit.
Indio, you just going to take that, Indio?
Yeah, like what? You guys want to get back to the debate?
I'm over the ideas. You can only use 4 letters, so I think somebody took it off, so I can't use that.
He's going to say fresh and fit, because that's where his allegiance lies.
So you guys want to get back to the debate?
What